Welcome to the Thrillers and Killers podcast with Doug and Aaron.
And this week, replacing Jacob, maybe this one time, but hopefully forever, we have Briana. Say hi, Briana.
Hi.
All right, this is Jacob's movie pick, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
it's a little bit weird.
unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, he won't be joining us for his own movie. But I can tell you right now that he loves this movie. Um, so just keep that in mind as Doug and Brianna shit on it, I'm sure, because it's a movie that I like. That means Doug hates it.
I don't plan on doing that.
Oh
Fantastic.
my god.
Well, I mean, I have some opinions, but it's not all bad.
All right, so this week we're covering Donnie Darko, written and directed by Richard Kelly. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Jenna Malone, Maggie Gyllenhaal, James Duval, Drew Barrymore, Mary McDonnell, Catherine Ross, Patrick Swayze,
Holy shit, you got the whole cast list here?
and Noah Wilde.
Seth Rogen is also in this movie.
Yes, dude. I love Seth Rogen's attempt to be a serious actor in this movie.
I think this was, if my research is correct, which it might be wrong, but I think this was his first debut to movies.
Debut?
Debut, sorry.
It might be because I think if I remember right, his his debut and into acting was on a TV show called Freaks and Geeks. I think that came out in the 2000,
Oh
like
yeah.
1999.
I think I mean movie, not.
Yeah,
I know the
yeah,
TV
that's what
show
I'm
you're
saying.
talking about. I think this is his first movie.
Yeah, right after that, I think he would have got this role, which he's a nothing character, but it's whatever.
His first line though of the whole movie, basically. We can get into that later, I guess.
Yeah. This movie, Doug, I'm not sure if you looked at it, but has an 8.1 on IMDb out of 10. So people like it at least a little bit. Is that higher the other movies we've done? I feel like that's a high score. I feel like they're usually lower than that.
Higher
No,
than
V for
V for
Vendetta had an
Vendetta, for
8.1 as
sure.
well.
Oh, you're kidding.
Nope. They're both the same. This movie had a $4.5 million budget, and box office it made $7.5 million. So, I mean, it wasn't like super popular, but I mean, it almost doubled its money. That's success. Also, this is a fun fact. I found out that it was produced by a company called Flower Film Productions, and that is founded by Drew Barrymore. So she starred and produced this movie. And I was also informed by Kaylee that that is what her makeup line is called as well. Like
Wow.
flower makeup. So I think that's her thing, I guess.
So that's one of my issues with this movie. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck the point of some of the characters in the movie are. And then, we got to the end of the movie and it was like produced by Drew Barrymore, and we were like, "Man, that explains." I think
she heard
she just wanted to yell "fuck" at the top of her lungs on
that
film.
dude, okay. That's something we gotta talk about because I don't know if you guys liked it, but the comedy really hits for me, dude. I was cracking up at this movie. I don't know what it is, but I was dying.
It was really funny at the start, and then when she yelled "fuck," but I feel like
It was a little cringy, but at the same time, it was pretty funny.
it kind of like went away at points. I don't know.
I think it's a movie where like it has a lot. They're throwing a lot of shit at the wall to see what hits, and some of it hits really hard, and some of it misses completely. But the parts that hit for me are really good. I specifically love the transitions in this movie. They speed everything up to make it look like a fucking music video. Everybody's like running it super fast or walking super fast, and like the clouds go super fast by. But yeah, and that's pretty much all the behind the scenes stuff. Um,
So, Brianna, if you want to say something, just fucking start talking. That's how this works.
Is
yeah,
this like how early in Jake Gyllenhaal's career is this movie for him? Does anybody know?
early. He would have done.
Like one of his first, second? Because I mean, not that it was like a big plot in the movie, but I really liked how they used his actual sister. I think
Yeah,
they should always do that. I think it's funny. Or I mean, I think they had good chemistry, obviously, because they're actual brother and sister. Like the opening scene when they're at the dinner table was really hilarious. Like they were saying nothing, but it was really hilarious to me.
Yeah, no, their little banter back and forth at the very beginning is extremely funny, and it felt because they're actually actual siblings. It felt really real. I dug it.
Yes.
I dug it, digged it. I was cool with it. He was
Same.
19, by the way, whenever this movie was made. So
It
I think
says
he would have done
it says this is his second movie, by the way.
what he done. Bubble Boy, is that his first one?
I'm trying to find it, but I'm just blind apparently.
So
I,
maybe this was his sister's first like movie role then or something. Because it had to be. I mean, it was obviously early in both of their careers.
Uh,
I like
well,
sometimes.
apparently his last ancestor to be born in Sweden was his great grandfather Anders Leonard Gyllenhaal. Anyways, that's not fucking important. Trying to figure out what his first movie is, but
I mean, it's fine. I just was wondering, but I mean, I was wondering if this
oh,
was his.
Gyllenhaal's first lead role was October Sky.
oh yeah, okay. I think he does a good job. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but I thought for 19 years old and only having a couple movies under his belt. I mean, I know he was like an actor before this, but
He's
um,
pretty much born, like bred to be an actor.
yeah,
Yeah, I weirdly like him as an actor.
I
Oh no.
more than weirdly like him as an actor. I'm
Oh
into it.
no.
I
Why are you saying, "Oh no"? I like a lot of his movies.
Brokeback Mountain.
Well, okay, I'm not talking about that one.
You don't like Brokeback Mountain?
I have no comment on that.
I don't know. I don't think I like him.
You don't
Of
like him?
course you don't.
How do you feel about Maggie Gyllenhaal? She's Rachel in The
Yeah,
Dark Knight.
I've never. I don't think I've ever seen like a movie she's like actually starring in, so I don't really have a comment.
Has she started anything? Like, is she a? I feel like she's just like a career supporting actress.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, she just got blown up. That's it. She got fucking blown up by Heath Ledger. That's all I know about her.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, yeah, we want to get into the plot a little bit.
Sure.
Also, let me just say, you can do way worse than getting fucking blown up by Heath Ledger. So
Man, rip Heath, dude.
that's a fucking W.
Man, Heath got to act with both the Gyllenhaals. Legend.
I'd be telling my kids, I'd be telling my fucking grandkids when in my rocking chair, I got blown up by Heath fucking Ledger.
I got blown by Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
That's what
probably both.
Jake is saying from in Brokeback Mountain.
Oh no.
Okay,
Oh no.
let's get into it. This movie, like we kind of said at the beginning, it kind of rolls up with Jake and Maggie. I guess their character names are Donnie and
No, come on, man.
I don't know her sister name. I just called her Maggie in my notes. I don't know. Hey,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Um, it opens up with them having some banter, and it's really good. I think he calls her a fuck ass,
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
and he's like something like, "How do you like? What even is a fuck ass?" And she's like, "Oh, I can explain it to you."
The
And then
mom's like trying to shut it down. The dad's just like laughing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
that's me, boys.
the
Whenever I have a
sister,
kid.
the little sister Sam, who's like what 10 probably.
Mhm.
She goes, "What's a fuck ass?" And that's when the dad loses it, which I can't blame him. That shit was funny.
I literally said fuck ass, and then right after I said that, Maggie Gyllenhaal's character was like, fuck ass.
It's good shit, man. Um, they also establish here that Donnie is schizophrenic and he's on some kind of medication. He does not want to be on these fucking pills. But the big event in this whole movie is right after this. Donnie gets woken up by a voice, and it tells him to. I guess it's like commanding him to sleepwalk somewhere. Um, and he
He like
sees,
goes out on the street or something to meet him. The
yeah, he
voice.
like walks out and sees Frank the rabbit, which is like it's a it's a very loose bunny costume. Like
Like a
it's barely a rabbit.
like a Easter bunny costume gone wrong.
It's like a haunted Easter bunny costume.
Wait, I gotta put in some interesting info here I'm reading.
Okay, let's hear it.
Apparently, Vince Vaughn was offered the role of Donnie, but he turned it down as he felt he was too old for the part.
How old was he?
Uh,
First of all, I love Vince Vaughn, so I am going to
what year did this movie come out?
2001.
So Vince Vaughn is 51 right now. So
So minus 20 years. God damn, yeah, he would have been too old for that. Vince Vaughn's 51? Oh my god.
so then they offered Mark Wahlberg the part.
Oh god.
And then they didn't pick him because he insisted that he should play Donnie with a lisp.
uh, okay, Mark. I mean, I'm glad. I don't like Mark Wahlberg, so this movie would not be as enjoyable for me if he was the lead character.
I'm signing off the pod at this juncture. You'll never hear from me again.
You like Mark Wahlberg more than you like Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes.
I hate him. Sorry. Moving on from those disgusting comments that Doug just made. Donnie gets told by Frank the Rabbit that he has specifically 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds until the world will end. In a really cool voice. I like the voice. Um, and then it cuts back to the house, and Elizabeth, Maggie Gyllenhaal, is sneaking in from, I guess she snuck out earlier, and she chills for a second, and then something starts shaking this house bigly. This thing, it looks like an earthquake.
I,
I
I,
thought it was an earthquake.
I had both of my pets on my lap at the time and they were trying to eat each other. And I looked down when the fucking thing started. I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. What happens is a jet engine essentially falls from the sky and lands in Donnie's bedroom, where he is not at because he was sleepwalking. And yeah, I mean, he just like comes back home later, like walks back up, and they do that movie thing where like the police are like, "Hey man, you can't go past here," and he's like, "That's my
Oh,
house."
I hate that. I hate that. I have that in my. I started taking notes, but then I stopped. But I have that. Like literally, if this is really like how they do it in real life, all you have to do, even if it's not your house, is just dramatically say, "This is my house," and they just let you through. Like they don't even care. It's so
Well,
annoying.
this guy, he says that, and he's like, "All right, buddy, whatever." And then he says it again, and he's like, "Okay." And in the background, you can hear him go, "Oh, he's good." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah.
And so Donnie walks up, and basically the is it the FFA?
Yeah.
They roll up, and they're like, "Yep, we don't know what happened, so we're gonna fix your house and send you off to a hotel for a while. Just sign all these papers and see you later."
Did y'all, or I don't know about Doug, did you think it was weird that nobody in his family was concerned that
No,
he
yeah,
would
I
have
did
been in
too.
his room?
I I definitely thought
They like
that.
he just walked up and they were like,
Oh, hey,
"Oh,
Donnie.
oh hey Donnie."
Well,
Like,
I assumed they would have checked, right?
how do you
But
check when a like
oh man, I don't know,
how do you
because they
because it
are not
fell
freaking out.
it supposedly fell like right through his room. So how do you go and check that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I also thought it was weird. I just assumed that like they looked and were like, "Oh, I guess he sleepwalked out." I guess it's a thing he does regularly.
Which was the other thing I was thinking, which is like not concerning to them that he just
Like sleepwalks around town.
yeah.
I mean, at the same time though, they do have kind of bigger fish to fry. Their house just got destroyed.
And they don't seem to care that their son should have been in his room and he wasn't. Like not even a hug to be like, "Oh, Donnie, we're so glad that you're safe" or anything. He literally just walks up and they're like, "Oh, hey, Donnie."
Bad
Donnie.
parents, bad parents.
Also, speaking of the house getting destroyed, I'm pretty sure if a fucking 747 engine fell from how high do planes fly? Like 30,000 feet or some shit?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your house would fucking vaporize.
Yeah, was it?
That shit wouldn't land on the fucking second floor and just stop.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
maybe it
I
didn't
mean,
fall from that high.
physicists fucking, correct me if I'm wrong if you happen to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that shit would be vaporized.
Yeah, after this, it's pretty much just Donnie goes to school and he's a fucking legend. They're all like, "Bro, you almost died. That's so cool." And you get to meet Drew Barrymore's boring ass character. And this is actually a pretty good scene, I think. She's reading a book called The Destructors, and they're asking, what it means. And in the book, they flood this old dude's house. And Donnie's basically just like saying something about how it's ironic and they just want to do it to watch the world burn at Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like when the teacher called on me when I wasn't paying attention in high school, but then he said some smart ass shit, and I was like,
Well, they say later
"Whoa."
in the thing, first of all, Elizabeth, his sister, gets into fucking Harvard. But
Yeah,
later in the fucking movie, they say that Donnie's test scores are like scary or something,
yeah,
like
they're
frighteningly good. So I guess they're just
pretty smart.
geniuses. Um,
She's like Drew Barrymore is supposed to be like the cool teacher, but
I thought there was gonna be some kind of sex scene with Drew Barrymore for sure in this movie,
I
but
thought
it
they're.
didn't happen.
I don't think she liked him very much because she's talking to another teacher at one point and they like laugh at him, which is kind of mean. Um,
the movie, I mean, obviously because she produced it, I guess it's supposed to make her seem like the cool teacher. If I walked in high school and my teacher said, "Go sit by the boy you
oh
think is the
yeah,
cutest," I would have just left. Like, is that I feel like she put that in herself and was like, "Oh yeah, the people are gonna think this is cool," and maybe people did. I did not. I was like,
Well,
"No,
it's
it's
supposed to be
it's a
like
no for
it's
me."
supposed to be like part of the movie's weirdness, but
yeah. I guess we should mention that part. Jenna Malone's character Gretchen walks in. I don't know if it's right here. If it's no, it's right here. And Drew Barrymore's character is like, hey, just sit next to the boy you think is the cutest. And she starts like scanning over everybody and she makes eye contact with Donnie. It's like Donnie is the cutest, I'm not gonna lie.
And then she makes that one kid move.
Yeah, she's just like, Joni, get up.
If there was an open seat, put the new but I mean, I know it's like for the movie, so I'm probably being too critical. But if I was the girl or whoever, boy or girl in that seat, I would have been like, "What the fuck? Why do I have to move? This is my
Well,
seat."
Donnie's
Don
feeling it, dude.
Well, yeah, of
Donnie's
course.
friend is way better looking. I'm just gonna put it out there.
No, he's not. Donnie's the best looking in out of those friends, for sure, Donnie.
But you're biased. You're sexually attracted to Jake Gyllenhaal.
I mean,
This episode of Thrillers and Killers is brought to you by Anchor.
if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, it's totally free.
Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
At some point they are showing us well, they're kind of introducing us to the new girl.
Yeah, and
That's when we see Seth Rogen and he gets his first line in a movie
What did he say again?
and quote, "I like your boobs."
God damn, he's spitting mad game.
And supposedly a legend was born. Yeah.
I think we skipped forward a little bit. We he there's a scene in between where Donnie gets woken up by Frank, and he basically gets told to break a water main, and so Donnie sleepwalks and busts open this water main, and then he puts the axe in the head of the school statue. Do you know how strong you would have to be to put an axe through like a steel statue? This dude is
So
insanely strong.
Brianna could do it.
no. So I was looking, and this might be too early to start saying, but I don't even know if Doug picked up on this, but I only know this because of some of the small, very small research that I did. Supposedly this movie is kind of like dipping into like it talks about a primary universe and then a tangent universe, which is a parallel universe that
Whoa.
most of the film is set in.
Mhm.
So
Correct,
the
yeah.
reason that he's like ridiculously strong is because something or someone in the tangent universe picked him to be or something.
Interesting. I have read a theory as well, 'cause
Oh,
I
he's the living receiver is what it says.
No, that's what he is in Fullmetal
Stop,
Matinee.
stop, stop.
Hey,
I
leave,
also read something.
leave that
There's a
in, bro.
line.
Leave that in, bro.
There's a line here where he's talking a little bit after he pops his water main, the school gets flooded, and this is after Seth Rogen's line as well. Him and Gretchen are walking back home, and um, he says his name, and she's like, "Donnie Darko, is that like sounds like some kind of superhero?" And he says, "What makes you think I'm not?" And I saw some research saying like this is a low key superhero movie because like he would be super strong, which he is if he can do this. Um, he at the very end, this is spoilers. He's the one that breaks the jet engine off into the portal. So like he's telekinetic? Question mark. And so that's another theory of this. There's so many theories on this fucking movie, but another one of the theories is that he's like has like fucking superpowers. I also have my own theory, which I'll get into the very end that I cooked up on my own last night after watching this movie, but we'll get there.
Um, I'm just gonna point out that I refused to do much, if any, research, and I just interpreted this movie as it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I like that it doesn't make any sense. Like I'm a
Well, to for it to make sense, you have to do the research. Like
Mhm.
apparently there's parts of the book that they introduce, which we can talk about later,
It's a
that
fucking book.
yeah, that he goes to his I think the science teacher shows him that
Oh,
the old lady actually wrote or
I thought you meant the
something.
Mhm.
movie was based on a book.
Oh, no, no, no.
No, no, no.
But like that's how people are getting the stuff about like the tangent universe, the that he has the superpowers and all that stuff is because they looked it up. And I guess there's a director's cut, and then also you can find stuff on the book. And so after you watch it knowing all that, people like it a lot more. I wonder if Jacob knew that. I don't
I'm not
know.
sure. When I first saw this movie, I knew what it was. I had never seen it, obviously, the first time I saw it. So I went into it kind of fresh, but I had an idea that it was about some type of weird shit going on. And I was obsessed with it for a little bit afterwards, and I was all into that stuff. That's where I kind of got all my feelings about it after, because I watched it the first time and I was like, "That's pretty good. I like it." And then I read more about it and I was like, "Oh shit, this actually is crazy." But real quick, talking, Doug, you said it was based on a you thought it might be based on a book. I have some cool info about how it was actually made. The director, Richard Kelly, who was super fucking young at the time. I think he was like 20 when he made this movie. Um, he graduated from film school and decided to start writing a script directly after that. And he wrote the first thing he wrote was a jet engine falling into a house and nobody knowing where it came from. And he built this movie outward from that event. And he said it just eventually evolved into this like weird universe, like parallel time travel shit. And he he got to the end of it and he was like, "Whoa!" And then he decided, put it out there, and Drew Barrymore picked it up, and that's how it got made. Pretty cool.
Interesting.
That's one word for it.
Um, to continue our storyline, Jenna Malone's character,
Post
Gretchen, is
Malone.
like, uh, he asks her why she's in town or why she moved there, and she says that her mom was stabbed 4 times in the chest by her stepdad, and he's still on the run. So that's fun and important, but it's just kind of glossed over right here. Um, and then Donnie goes to a therapist, and
Is this
she
before
decides.
or after the dad and him are driving, they almost hit that the nickname person Grandma Death?
I believe that was before.
No, no, no. Yeah, this is taking place before they do that because it's on the way back from therapy that they do that. So he goes to therapy and gets hypnotized. That's you know pretty much all that happens there. And then they are making kids write. They made me do it on the board at school because after they the water main break. Whoever did it, wrote on the ground, "They made me do it." So they're testing kid's handwriting, and Donnie gets a question mark by his name. So they're suspicious. Um, the not Seth Rogen bully pulls a knife on Donnie and is like, "I'll fucking kill you," because he thinks that he's gonna get in trouble for it. He thinks Donnie told on him. It's just a lot of little stuff now that seems pretty insignificant that kind of plays a role. That's why it's kind of hard to cover this movie because I've like a lot of times we'll skip over this kind of stuff, but in this movie you skip over something small and it's actually super important.
Hard to cover the movie because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I feel like you're missing some parts about like.
Well, we're not going point by point.
Well, no, but I mean, they almost hit Grandma Death, and then Donnie gets out to check on her, and he whispers that thing that he talks about in therapy, and then when the therapist hypnotizes him, she has to like stop it because things are getting weird.
Yeah, that's the second time he gets hypnotized. So right after this bully pulls a knife on him, that's when they almost hit Grandma Death, and she whispers something in his ear, and then he gets woken up after Grandma Death tells him something that we don't get to hear in the moment. He gets woken up by Frank again, and Frank says something like, "Do you believe in time travel?" Which is cool. Yeah, there's a PTA meeting around this point as well, where we meet Kitty Farmer, who is a bitch teacher. I fucking hate this girl.
Aaron Farmer?
Yeah, she literally is a Karen, dude. They're trying to talk at the PTA meeting about the water main being broken by one of the kids, and she brings up that the book Drew Barrymore is teaching is like bad for everybody. And she's just like, it's just your typical like PTA mom psycho lady.
She's the only one that has the connection, though, remember? She's a parent and a teacher. She mentions that.
Transcends the bridge. The next scene we get with Kitty Farmer, Miss Farmer, there's she does this exercise from this dude named Jim Cunningham, played by Patrick Swayze, who is like, I don't even know how to. He's like a motivational speaker that does like programs for schools that are supposed to like help troubled youth, I guess. And his whole thing for this lesson is like love, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, fear, and everything you do is based on those two things.
From my limited research, this is supposed to be like the fucking theme of the movie or some shit.
I think, yeah, because she tries to get everybody to put these situations up on the board, and she gives one to Donnie, and Donnie's like, "You can't, like, it's not just black and white, fear or love," and she's like, "Well, just put it on the fucking board," and he's
his
like,
scenario, I don't remember it exactly now, but his scenario, I remember after he read it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense of like fear or love. Which I wonder if they did that on purpose.
The scenario was if you find a wallet on the ground and you take the money, but you still return the wallet. And he's like, "Hey, Chief, what the fuck are you talking
about?" And it doesn't, like, it gives him the scenario, but it doesn't ask him the question. Like, that first girl, there was, like, a question after it.
Mm-hmm.
And his didn't have a question, but also, yeah, I was very confused at that part, too. I was like, what?
Donnie's confused because he tells her to shove up her ass, which earns him a suspension.
I love how when they have the meeting with the principal, his dad's just like laughing his ass off.
Well, the principal's like trying to say what he said, and Miss Farmer's there, and she's like, "I'll tell you exactly what he said. He told me to forcibly insert the lifeline card up my anus." And then dad, and also me laughed my ass off.
That's how I'm gonna be if my kid ever gets in trouble.
There's like little parts of personality of Doug. I forgot to mention it in the first part, but before the engine crashes or whatever, him and his mom, Donnie and his mom are having an argument, and he just straight up calls his mom a bitch. And it's like
edit this out.
That whole scene, I was like, wait, is this Doug?
Edit this. Fucking cut this, bro.
You're no fun. Okay, you can cut it. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that.
the next scene is Donnie asking his science teacher about time travel, and it's pretty irrelevant except for it lays down the groundwork that time travel in this universe is at least plausible to these people. Um,
Nobody gives he shows him the book.
yeah, and then he gives him the philosophy of time travel, written by Grandma Death. What's her name? Something Sparrow.
Roberta.
Yeah, Roberta Sparrow. Um,
Captain Jack Sparrow.
I
basically,
feel like this after this, it starts getting like it was already kind of weird, and then it just starts getting weirder. Like,
yeah, for sure. He gets hypnotized again, and it gets real fucking weird at the doctor's office because he starts, what every teenage boy would be doing. He starts talking about like hot girls and stuff, and she's like trying to direct him in his hypnosis away from that, but he's like, "Nah, bro, I'm already thinking about it. I can't stop." And so he like unbuttons his pants, and she has to snap him out the hypnosis, and he wakes up. I'm assuming he knows what was happening in hypnosis because he like looks at her real fucking weird, and then it just cuts away.
I don't
Uh,
know. I think he looked down and saw his hand on his cock and was like,
Yeah.
sorry?
The next important thing, Donnie's sitting in the living room watching a football game, and he sees this like water spear looking thing coming from his dad's chest, and it like leads him to the fridge and back. It was real fucking weird. And then he sees it come out of his chest, and so he follows it and up the stairs and shit, and then he gets to the closet of his parents' room, and the water spear leads him to a gun.
You know Donnie Driller's got to be walking around strapped.
Does he? I'm assuming it doesn't show us after that. He steals it, right, and just walks around with it for the rest of the movie.
Uh, it's implied.
he definitely has it. I don't know if he walks around with it, but he definitely has it.
Yeah. There's a cool scene around this point too, where Donnie's talking to Frank in the bathroom, and he has like a Donnie has a knife, and he's like stabbing the force field around Frank, and it's right at Frank's eye, and it like has it glows from where Donnie's stabbing it at, and that's parallel to what happens later in the movie, which we'll get to, but I like that shot a lot. It has a lot of cool shots. Um, there is the next scene with Jim Cunningham. Pat Swayze's character walks in, doing his little motivational speaker thing. It's you know the drill. It's all real annoying. It's like um, a seminar basically for the students. And
I don't know if this is before its time or not, but when Cunningham is speaking, it just gives me like Joel Olstein vibes, or
for sure,
I don't know if
he's
anyone
like,
else thought that.
for sure, his character is written to be like he's supposed to look super like godly and stuff like that. So that's probably spot on. Everybody is like, I don't know if the kids take him seriously or not, but the parents definitely do. And so he's getting these kids up on stage that they're asking questions, and he's like trying to answer their questions based off his like theory of fear and love. And Donnie gets up there, and shit's gonna hit the fan when Donnie gets a mic in front of him, bro. And he starts like going in on these kids, telling them like one of the kids is like they're afraid their sister's gonna be like 400 pounds or something. God damn,
I think I saw that was Ashley Tisdale, by the way.
that little kid is Ashley Tisdale.
I think so because when I was afterwards, I was looking up stuff and I saw Ashley Tisdale on like the actors list, and I was like, "Where was Ashley Tisdale in this movie?" So I googled a picture of Ashley Tisdale and then typed in Donnie Darko, and I'm pretty sure it was the kid who said something about her sister being fat or whatever.
There's also Spencer from iCarly at this point as well. He's just a random character.
Yes. As soon as he made an appearance, Doug made a comment. I said iCarly, and then I was like, well, also Drake and Josh. Can't forget about that.
There's so many good backup characters, dude. Ashley Tisdale, Seth Rogen, and then Spencer. It's so good. Donnie goes in on all of them, and then the Jim starts trying to come back and like prove his theory of fear and love with Donnie, and Donnie goes basically just calls him the fucking Antichrist. and that gets him
King.
that gets him thrown out.
I'm surprised they gave him that much leash to talk.
Yeah, I know. He went on for a couple minutes and nobody ran up there and took the microphone away from him.
I think they're scared of him.
I mean, he is.
Or certain people, I think, are scared of him.
I mean, he's strapped. Apparently, every kid in the school has a fucking switchblade.
Yeah. After that, some more time travel shit with the science teacher. It's just we can just skip past that. It's just him asking about time travel, and then he finds Jim Cunningham's wallet on the sidewalk outside of this big ass house, and Frank tells him that he knows where he lives now. So that's
Hopefully,
good.
hopefully, he took the money out of that motherfucker.
After a little bit of bullshit, him and I guess his movie, they go see Evil Dead, and she goes to sleep, and you get a. This is like my favorite shot in the movie. It's him and Gretchen in the movie theater, and then behind them, Frank is sitting, and he talks to Frank. There's some really weird, like, kind of disturbing dialogue here, where like Donnie asks Frank why he's wearing his stupid bunny outfit, and Frank asks Donnie why he's wearing his stupid man outfit. It's just like you add in the weird shit going on with the weird dialogue, and I'm so into this movie.
God help me.
Frank at this point takes off his mask, and you get to see that he's just a kid with a fucked up eye, the same eye where Donnie was stabbing at.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think he actually has they just are doing stuff with his eye apparently.
well, I think it's because spoiler later in the movie, Frank shows up. As real life, he gets shot in the eye, and then everything goes back in time. I think this is like Frank is from the future, and all this has to happen to get Frank shot so that Frank can go back in time to make this all happen and get Donnie to put the jet through the portal. Oh, we'll get there. We'll explain it all. Because
Well, anyways, he takes his mask off, and then this is kind of what I don't like about I don't like when they introduce characters, but then they don't in a way. I mean, obviously, the person on your poster, the bunny, is going to be an important character. And yet, when he is unmasked, we have no idea, who is this? Are we supposed to know this? Did we miss something? I was very confused. And I don't know. It just felt weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those
Not
things.
supposed to make any sense.
It's one of those things I think where you don't know the importance of a character, of this specific character, until the end.
I feel like, I mean, we can get to this at the end, obviously. I feel like even at the end, I didn't know the importance of this character.
Yeah,
He was just a guy in a bunny suit.
That's my issue with this movie, and Aaron knows it's my issue with similar movies, is this is one of those movies where they just make some stupid ass shit, and then everyone's like, oh my god, you're supposed to figure it out for how you felt about the movie, and then fucking connect. No, fuck that shit. It's cringe as hell.
Those are my favorite
I know.
types of movies.
I'm gonna punch you in your egg ass head, bitch.
Because it's like, look, as an opinionated person, I don't need a movie to tell me exactly what I'm supposed to get from it. I like to be able to watch a movie and pull my own thoughts from it. And I like movies that have like different readings on it, and that's exactly what this movie is. I just think it's cool to have a form because, like, at the end of the day, movies are just a form of art, and it's cool to have a form of art that doesn't tell you what to feel about it. Like, some movies are very specifically made to make you feel a certain way, and then the ones that I tend to draw myself to are the ones that don't make you feel a certain way, and you can choose how to feel. Which is exactly like my favorite movie is Midsummer, and that's the whole point of that movie is to make you decide how to feel about something and not know if it's the right way.
But that movie at least made sense. Like, characters and stuff made sense. I'm not saying this is I know we have to rate this later, I think, or whatever. I'm not saying this is like the worst movie ever. I'm just saying that for me, how am I supposed to feel something if I don't know about a character or something? Like, Midsummer, I agree with you. It doesn't tell you how to feel, but I at least knew important things of the movie. I didn't have to do a whole bunch of research afterwards to be like, oh, this is why this makes sense, or oh, I still don't understand who I just forgot his name, the bunny is or whatever,
Frank.
why he's important. Frank, I don't understand it, but at least with Midsummer, I understood characters and stuff, and like that ending of did they do the right thing? Did they not do the right thing? Whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think this one definitely requires more work. I don't doubt that at all, and I could see how that drives people away from it. Like, some people don't want to, like, they wanna know, like they wanna know what the movie is at least about. I get that. Like, I get
And I mean,
this movie is overly confusing.
I can't speak for Doug, obviously, but I also feel like if they would have went a little bit more into like the tangent universe and all that stuff, I think Doug would have actually liked it more. Because I mean, I don't know if the listeners know, but I know that you know, Aaron, that Doug is like really into that kind of stuff. Obviously, they don't make movies just for Doug. I'm just saying like people like Doug who find it interesting about time travel and the different universes and stuff. But supposedly it is because when you do all the research, that's the main thing of the like. I'm not saying they had to change the whole movie. I'm just saying if they would have added some more things in to make it make more sense. I don't know. I think I would have liked it better.
For sure.
But
You're just not getting it. That's the point. It's not supposed to make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
apparently it is when you do the research. Is what I'm saying. Like
No,
when you
the research is literally people making shit up because the movie makes no sense. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No,
okay.
no. I read about Richard Kelly had an interview that came out, and he says he purposely left things vague so you could form your own opinions about it. But the movie intentionally doesn't tell you things so that you can do like your own interpretation of it. And I completely agree, Brianna. Like I understand that so like a lot of people don't like that, and I think that is what drives people away from this movie a lot. That's why like I I know it doesn't hit for everybody. And
I mean, it's
honestly,
got a fucking 8.1, so.
I know, but like hard to explain.
Also, how fucking triggering is it that the goon that's not Rogen's name is Seth? That's oh my god, that's triggering.
Just to go back to this, wrap up our little thing here. As soon as Jacob said this movie, I knew Doug would hate it. It just is too
Too
like
cringe.
yeah. So, anyways, they're in the movie theater and they're talking.
Pretty much he fucking teleports to. I don't know if he teleports to the movie just because.
no.
He,
Frank shows him a portal though, and tells him to go burn down Jim Cunningham's house.
he goes down to Cunningham's house, douses that bitch in gasoline, lights it up, and it turns out Jim Cunningham's a bad hombre.
Yeah. They they say on the news next morning after they clean up his burn ass house that they found a kiddie porn dungeon, to quote the reporter.
Jesus Christ.
Bad dude. There's intercut between him burning the house down. There's a talent show going on where you
Yes.
get
Yes.
introduced to Sparkle Motion, which is Sam, who is the little sister in this family, is on a dance team led by Miss Farmer, Kitty Farmer. And I guess there's a scout there or some shit that invites them to LA for a competition. And since Jim Cunningham was such a standout guy in the community and Kitty is a supporter of his, she can no longer take these girls on a trip to LA because she has to stay back and defend him in his trial.
Fucking
Yeah, it's like a
Epstein and Ghislaine.
there's like a weird
God help me.
subplot. There's a weird subplot here with like I don't know, like blindly following somebody you think is good and not believing when bad shit happens with them. That's exactly what like it happened. Like she thinks he's like the she thinks he's the bee's knees, you know, and whenever it gets kitty porn gets exposed, she thinks it's all a hoax and a conspiracy to frame him. So she asks Rose, which is the mom, to go with them and she agrees.
Well, she doesn't agree right away. They have some like awkward
Weird
tension.
awkward tension, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because her son told her to insert the thing in her ass.
True.
Yeah, probably an issue. Also, it establishes here that dad's also out of town, so no parents, and
Woo!
Elizabeth gets accepted into Harvard, so they're like, "Fuck it, party time."
Fucking send it!
So, sound of a party. It's a cool little party montage, and then Gretchen shows up and ruins the vibe because she's crying, and
And
because
then she unruins the vibe.
yeah, she's crying because her mom is gone and the house is fucked up, and she's like, "I think my stepdad's back. He might have killed her."
And this just doesn't seem very likely.
And yeah, because
Like,
then
whose mom just gets fucking abducted, murdered, and she's like, okay, let's clap cheeks.
Well, it
yeah,
doesn't say she got murdered, but
It's
yeah,
implied.
it is implied that something bad
Mhm.
happened to her,
Yes, yes.
and then her and Donnie hook up. So my boy Donnie gets it wet. My boy.
King.
When he comes back downstairs, so you hear somebody say, I think it's Elizabeth, ask where Frank is. Still haven't seen Frank, but I like how I like the confusion of like we know Frank is like a weird dream demon thing going on right now, but also there's like some weird like human Frank running around at this point. I like it. I know it's really confusing, but I like it.
The just the design of the mask is pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah. There we skipped over a scene earlier where Drew Barrymore gets fired.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as she's going out, she writes cellar door on the blackboard. And Donnie's like, "What the fuck does this mean?" And she's like, I think like a famous literature person said that cellar door is the most perfect and beautiful like sentence in the English language. That's relevant
Her
because
Yeah, go on.
that's relevant because at this point in the party, Donnie gets some kind of telepathic thing where he has to go talk to Grandma Death. And so they go over to her house and they see a cellar door. And he's like, "Oh, I guess we got to go through that cellar door." And
Genius.
when they do, they're in there fucking around and the bullies show up. And they pull out Donnie and Gretchen and they just like, they hold a knife to Donnie's throat and they throw Gretchen in the road and she like lands really hard and gets like the breath knocked out of her. And then as they're like threatening to kill Donnie, they see a car rolling up, so they freak out and run away. And this car is like flying on this road, and they don't see Gretchen in the road, and it just fucking plows her ass.
And Brianna was like, did they just run her over?
It's very blunt. Like it's
Well,
I was like,
it looked like they tried to do it. It didn't
was
look
like, I
like an
think-
accident to me because I mean, like, you had the way that the car went. It purposely looked like they tried to hit her.
yeah,
That's my interpretation.
it just the car comes down and just hits her, and then like stops, and it's just so matter of fact. It's very like sudden, and they hop out. Donnie runs over to her body, and the two dudes hop out of the car. One's in a clown outfit, which I think this clown outfit is a reference to It. I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but at the beginning of this movie, everybody's reading fucking books, and the mom is reading a Stephen King It book. I think that this is a reference to that. I think the director might have just liked that movie or that book and wanted to throw some stuff in there. And then on the other side of the car, you see Frank the rabbit hop out. But he is not like dream demon rabbit yet. He's just a kid in a rabbit costume. In a dope ass rabbit costume, I might say. And he's like, "Oh shit, dude, like is she dead?" And Downey's like, "Yep." And he pulls
He
the
like
gun out.
tries to blame her.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle of the fucking road.
Typical.
Donnie pulls the gun out of his backpack and just fucking caps Frank's ass right there. Shoots him in the eye. So
Fucking waxed.
I think that is where he gets his fucked up eye from. You know?
You think so?
I think so. Because he dies. And then after this, Donnie just puts Gretchen back in the fucking car and they drive up to the top of that mountain. from the beginning of the movie, and there's a plane flying over it, and Honey fucking you don't get to see this, but he presumably is the one that pulls the jet engine through the portal that is opened above his house, and then it just everything goes in reverse time. You see everything, all the events of the movie, but just backwards, super fast. So it's like time travel backwards. And yeah, and it goes back to the night that Donnie sleptwalk and met Frank for the first time, and the jet engine fell through. But this time, instead of getting up, Donnie just stays in bed, and jet engine comes to the top of the house and kills him. Donnie Darko dies.
No.
Yep. And then Gretchen rides by their house later, and
Well, they have a montage of like everyone,
oh yeah,
not everyone, but some people that he had interacted with, and
it's like they knew what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know, but and then that's when we see the actual Frank. And so again, I go back to, are we supposed to know who this guy is?
no, I think it's like they're showing you that everybody that had an impact on this night has some recollection of something.
What is
You know,
that? I don't even know her name, and we haven't even talked about her yet, but she like makes appearances. The
Chinese girl.
Yeah, that girl.
Charita.
Yeah, I
I
don't understand
I
her.
don't know if she's actually Chinese. You just tell her she's
she
from
is.
China. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I didn't like that.
yeah.
I don't understand her role and all. Like when you just said that everyone who played a role in that night, what role did she play exactly?
I wonder if it's a role in the night or just a role in Donnie getting to that point in general.
What role did she play in him getting to that point in general?
Um,
That's where it gets. Because I'm like, are we supposed to like this character, care about this character? Is she important? Is she not important?
I'm wondering
Um,
if like I don't know. I just think she interacted with Donnie at one point. He like tells her like everything's gonna be okay or whatever, and then she runs away. I just think it just happens to be that she interacted with him, and so she's a part of it, and that's the end of it. I don't know if there's a specific reason she is, but I
okay,
don't know.
well, anyways, so yeah, so then Gretchen and Donnie's mom make eye contact.
Yeah, and they kind of like seem like they know each other, but then they say they don't, and
Yeah, it's
that
like
I
a
think
deja
that
vu moment.
yeah, I think that's just showing you like yeah, these people that had something to do with it, like something's weird now, and they know it. Yeah, and then the movie ends.
I'm literally just interpret. The good thing about these movies that they leave up to interpretation is I can interpretate it however the fuck I want. So
Yeah.
I'm literally interpreting it the same as the fourth kind, just some crazy motherfucker making shit up in their
What
mind.
what do you interpret it as, Brianna?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, there's for me, I'm just more, I don't know. I don't have a big brain, I guess. I need to be told more. I don't, like, I feel like it had for me the potential to be like a really, really good movie to me. But I just feel like I'm missing a lot of parts that if I want to know, I have to go look up, which
Yeah,
I can, but I don't know. Some of my favorite movies I don't have to do that on, so I guess it's just not my style. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but
I think
Pretty
that's
close.
what.
I don't know what I'm supposed to interpret it as. It's like I felt like I was on drugs watching this movie. So much stuff did not make sense to me. So
Yeah,
then I was just thinking in my head, I was like, is it me? Am I missing important stuff? I don't know. It made me feel stupid. That was my interpretation.
yeah, I get it.
Just wait until we watch Memento.
I interpreted it originally the first time I watched it as it's like a supernatural time travel thing going on. But I was watching back this time, and I was, I was like looking at it, and as soon as I got done with it, I came up with this theory. So let me run it past you guys, and you can tell me what you think. I'm sure Doug, you will find plot holes immediately, but I think that this whole thing is like a fever dream of Donnie killing himself and overdosing on his pills. And specifically, what gave me this idea. I mean, one, they talk about his pills all the time in this movie and talk about how he needs to take them, and he's obviously having some mental issues with the therapist and stuff. I just think that has something to do with it. And then in the movie theater scene, after he gets done burning down Jim Cunningham's house, he comes back to Gretchen and she asks him, "How long have I been asleep?" And he replies with the whole movie, which we think is just the whole movie of Evil Dead. But I'm kind of interpreting that as like this he's literally been asleep this entire movie. Like he's not sleepwalking, he's not doing all this. Like this is all just a dream he's having, like as he's killing himself. And there's no jet engine. That's just a metaphor for like how he's dying. And then in the very end, whenever you see them bringing his body out and his parents are all crying and stuff, I think that is real. I think like they're wheeling his dead body out and his parents are reacting to him killing himself.
What, you think he took all his pills at once or some shit?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened, and he was having like a fever nightmare as he was dying.
Yeah, but in the like I'd have to go back and look, but I think they show the top of the house like smoking
I know.
from the inside.
That's
Yeah,
his
yeah,
imagination.
Yeah, there's like stuff that he's imagining is like what's actually
You know what?
happening.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna go with Aaron's theory on this one.
It just a lot of this that theater line. Whenever she said it, it just like hit me. I was like, what if he
I
is
mean,
asleep this entire?
I know, well, I mean, like 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like before they even say it, I'm like, "Oh, this kid has schizophrenia." So then it makes me think while I watch the movie too, I'm like, "How much is this actually real and how much is
Yeah, I just
it
think
not?"
it's and a lot of the scenes with the therapist is about death. I think he is just trying to cope in his head with dying, and so he tries to make up this in his head like it's meant to be like this, and him doing it this way like saves everybody. Because like that's the whole point is like by sacrificing himself and pulling this jet engine off, Frank always tells him like the world's ending. I think in his head like he's saving everybody. So I think when he's killing himself, he's thinking like I'm saving everybody this trouble of like who I am and how much of a burden and like weirdo I am. So like I'm just killing myself and saving everybody else.
You know, they have the perfect parallel for what we're doing right now in the movie in a scene that we didn't cover when they're discussing the Smurfs' sexual behavior.
Oh yeah.
See, the Donnie's two friends are over there like fucking trying to fucking connecting the dots and trying to make sense out of some shit that isn't supposed to make sense. And then Donnie's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This movie just doesn't make sense."
I, maybe maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe this movie isn't supposed to make sense, but
I agree. I agree. I don't think they even tried.
I really, really like it though. I know you guys don't. But with that, want to get into scores and give me your thoughts.
Yep, you go first, bitch.
Doug, you should probably go first. You can show her how it's done.
You go first, fuck ass.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I didn't know if you're calling me a fuck ass or Briana.
I wouldn't call Brianna.
Could have been either.
Okay, so this is gonna be a controversial opinion, and I know you're gonna yell at me, Doug, but please don't yell too loud.
I'm about to quit the pod.
This is my third favorite movie in existence. So I gave it a 10 because I love it. Everything just works for me, and that's just a personal thing.
A 10!
This is my opinion score, so let's take a chill pill. It just all works for me. That plain and simple. I like to be confused, so I'm here for it. And then for my actual like movie score, like how well I think this movie is made, I actually don't think it's made that well. I gave it a 7.5. It's overly confusing on purpose, and it's also kind of clunky. Like some of the stuff is like feels like it shouldn't be there and isn't like the Drew Barrymore scene where she just screams "fuck." Like why?
Why is Drew Barrymore even in the fucking
Exactly.
movie?
Like some of this stuff feels so irrelevant to the plot, and maybe it's supposed to confuse you, but like it was just kind of clunky for me. Um, Also, they used Mad World in the very end, which just made me laugh. I think it was supposed to be serious, but I was cracking up.
Well, that was before it was like meme
It was
status.
yeah, before it was a meme.
That's the best part of this movie is the fucking soundtrack.
No, yeah, it does have a really good soundtrack. It has a really good music montages.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Brianna, let it rip.
Ignore that.
Okay. My personal opinion of the movie would be a 6 out of 10. I feel like it had.
Okay. So before you give your score, which I know you already gave your score, but what I want you to do is think of a few other movies, maybe a movie that you love, like The Prestige, maybe a movie that's like average. Then you're gonna want to score those and then use those to like compare to slot this one in.
I can't just say it's a 6 out of 10 for me.
All right, so it's a 6 out of 10 for Brianna.
I don't know, an average movie, I guess. I feel like I'm pretty easy to. No, edit that out. I don't know. I'm like blanking on all the movies I've seen, I feel like.
All right, just so you know what, fuck it. One bite, you know the rules. Just rate it whatever you want.
Okay, I give it a 6 out of 10. I feel like it had the potential to be really good, and maybe when I do some more research and rewatch it, I'll think it's really good, but I personally I'm okay being a little bit confused, but I need it for me with my small brain. I need it at some point to explain a little bit to me, and I feel like this movie did not. I don't know a lot about movies, so I guess I'll just piggyback off of what Aaron said and the 7.5. I mean, I think the cast was really good. Like I said in the beginning, I wish we would have got seen more scenes of this, obviously, but I really like how they used Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, his real life sister. I thought that was good. Soundtrack was good. I really like that shot of like the school in the beginning where they're doing that like montage. So yeah, I guess I would give it. Would you give it a 7.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
All right, so at this point, I'm just going off all my previous ratings and just slotting shit in. So, woo! Yeah, this movie's a fucking 4. 4 out of 10 for the personal score. This movie is just a fucking diabolical piece of shit. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Movie making score? I guess the acting's all right. Soundtrack's fire. But then you gotta account for the fact that it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, but also, do you think that's by design? And if it is, then mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I feel like they intentionally made it not make sense, but well, I gave Ex Machina 6 movie making score, and that's fucking better than this. So I guess I'll give it a 5. Fuck it.
I'm gonna get Jacob's scores as well, and then we'll just add those in.
Anyways, fellas, that'll wrap us up for this week. Maybe Jacob will be back next week. Maybe Brianna will be on the pod next week.
Well,
Who knows?
I know we're trying to figure out how we're gonna do the Matrix.
Maybe
premiere
we'll
week.
have a new. The new Matrix is called Resurrections, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Maybe we'll have a Resurrections quick premiere week episode. We'll see.
Yeah, kind of like how we did with Dune. We'll see how that goes. We're trying to figure that out right now because they decided to release it like on Christmas, so that's fun. But we are looking at Matrix next week, Doug.
Yeah, next week we're going to be doing a full review like we do for every movie of the original Matrix 1999. And then we're probably going to quickly cover the next 2 Matrix movies.
Okay.
Without a full review. Just to recap.
Okay. Yeah, this was fun, Brianna. Anytime you wanna hop on, feel free. You're always welcome here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter at ThrowKillPod, and that's it. Everybody say bye.
Bye.